Chapter 1806, Our Goal is the Starry Sky. Find Lu Karen if you can't handle the machinery, and find Yang Xinxin if you can't handle the mutants. The Tianqing Academy duo had always been Zhang Yi's capable helpers. Lu Karen took the time to lift her eyes from the monitor of the supercomputer, and her gaze fell on the black Rubik's Cube that Zhang Yi was holding up. It's okay to try. She unfolded her ability Angel of Desire, and an image of an angel with tricolored feathers growing behind her appeared behind her, then opened her bow and shot an arrow at the black magic cube. Ignoring all defenses, it directly entered it. Moments later, the magic cube unexpectedly emitted a ray of red light. Yang Xinxin said indifferently, "My intention has been conveyed, let it open on its own." As soon as her words fell, the cracks in that black magic cube opened up, truly revealing its inner source. It was only a split second. Zhang Yi felt a vigorous power that surged and surrounded his entire being. The feeling was marvelous, as if a strong yet gentle storm had instantly engulfed him, with endless rainwater washing over his body. His entire being became naked, in the presence of that power, like a baby returning to its mother's womb. This feeling was surprisingly indescribably familiar, as if it had once been truly experienced at some point in time. But the very next moment, Zhang Yi, out of instinct, detained it in his palm with one hand. This was an extremely powerful origin, the origin of the mutant. No, it was not the mutant origin that Zhang Yi had once come into contact with, it was something very similar to that, but completely different. It was even more pure, with almost no impurities. The name of that kind of thing, they called it Spirit of Sacrifice. This super-age android demon god source is actually the Spirit of Sacrifice. Zhang Yi's entire body was stunned, he could not imagine that it would be like this no matter what. Theoretically, today's Zhang Yi absorbing the Spirit of Sacrifice would only be able to simply raise his supernatural ability index. However, his soul was telling him that this kind of thing must have other functions, which he just hadn't unearthed yet for the time being. Zhang Yi resisted the urge to absorb it as it had a more important role to play. The Spirit of Sacrifice was a higher level of existence than the Source of God, and it was much more effective in helping mutants to enhance their strength and achieve a leap in their life level. Zhang Yi took out an alloy storage jar to store it away, and both Lu Karen and Yang Xinxin stared at the Spirit of Sacrifice in his hands, their eyes a little dull as if they had just experienced some kind of baptism. The Spirit of Sacrifice even has this method of use? Zhang Yi's voice trembled slightly, this world was truly marvelous, as he cognized more things, the more confused he became. Sure enough, knowledge was power. Zhang Yi did not have the slightest hesitation at this moment, and a decision was made directly in his heart. He looked at Lu Karen and Yang Xinxin next to him, his eyes wandering back and forth between the two 5 or 6 times before finally giving this Spirit of Sacrifice in his hand to Lu Karen. "Karen, I promised you that sooner or later I would let you advance to Epsilon's life level. For now, it's in your hands." This harvest was undoubtedly huge, and to Zhang Yi, it even excited him more than harvesting a bishop-level origin. He also wanted to see what kind of miracles Lu Karen could create with her own pair of skillful hands after she was promoted to Epsilon. Lu Karen stared blankly at the Spirit of Sacrifice in her hand, she didn't expect to suddenly encounter such a good thing. For a time she froze in place. After a long time she came back to her senses, and a small face was already as red as a boiled crab because of the hot blood going to her head. "Brother, brother, 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 brother. You're the best, Karen likes you the most." She excitedly pounced over and hugged Zhang Yi, shouting endlessly. For improving her strength? She wasn't interested. But after raising her life level, her supernatural abilities would become stronger, and then there would be a chance to delve into the mechanical field, or even peek into the truth of the world. How could this not make her excited to the point of losing her mind? Zhang Yi patted her back, "I will definitely do what I promised you." As for Yang Xinxin, Zhang Yi also had words to comfort her. "Xinxin, let Karen be promoted first and decipher the secrets of these mechanical life forms and androids for us. Don't worry, I will also fetch a Spirit of Sacrifice for you. If even the weakest of the 10 demon gods, the demon god Gui, had a spirit of sacrifice, then the other demon gods were bound to have equal, if not more powerful, sources. Zhang Yi's heart was already somewhat excited. No one else knew about this secret yet, so he had to seize the opportunity to conduct a good hunt. Yang Xinxin was very smart, and Zhang Yi would do things from a practical point of view, so of course she understood that it made the most sense for Zhang Yi to do so. But after all, she was a girl in her early 20s, and when she saw Lu Karen had a gift, of course she had to have one too. Zhang Yi's later words made her feel better in her heart. But brother, I now feel that the situation afterward is even more unpredictable. Yang Xinxin frowned slightly, and from her face, a rare look of worry was seen. The source of an N-grade demon god is actually something as precious as the spirit of sacrifice. The strength of this civilization is so powerful that it has exceeded our imagination. And it's definitely stronger than the Wulwan Empire, much stronger. We can't even defeat the Wulwan Empire. Can we really fight such a powerful civilization? The more they came into contact with mechanical civilizations, the more awe they felt towards them. Zhang Yi took a deep breath. That's why I have to get Karen promoted first. He scowled at Lu Karen. We can even make a Gundam now, so one day the entire space mothership will fly to the universe to get out of the wind. The planet is too dangerous. I want to go to the sky. Zhang Yi's quirky statement made Lu Karen and Yang Xinxin laugh. However, they also knew that Zhang Yi was not joking, but was seriously considering the feasibility of the escape plan. Our old Zhang family has a tradition. Back then, before a great civilization extinction, my Zhang clan ancestor, Zhang Beihai, bravely escaped and preserved the fire for human civilization. As a descendant of the Zhang family, I should emulate my ancestor. Lu Karen corrected, brother, that Zhang of others is a standing early chapter, and it's not next to you. Zhang Yi sighed, hey, that doesn't matter, it all sounds the same anyway, I'll just take him as my own family. Just let me rub it in. Lu Karen looked at the jar in her hand. Under the transparent plexiglass, the pure white energy body emitted a tantalizing glow. Her thinly calloused palm clenched slightly. That's good. Brother, next step, we can aim for the stars. She raised one arm with great vigor, her index finger pointing towards the sky of shadow space. Good. Zhang Yi said with a smile. The sea of stars was a bit of a stretch, and he wasn't really interested in being Traveler 1. However, at the moment, it seemed that the most suitable sojourn point was definitely the Moon or Mars. If he could establish a base on it, what happened on the planet would not threaten his safety. The news that Zhang Yi had defeated a demon god spread quickly, and the Fremon's side publicized the matter greatly, nothing more than to make the mutant teams from various countries work harder to kill the enemy. They described Zhang Yi's gains from this trip in an exaggerated manner, claiming that he had obtained the source secrets of the mechanical civilization, and that the future Huashu kingdom would also lead the world in the field of mechanical technology for hundreds of years. Such a claim naturally made the mutant forces of various countries sit up and take notice. Even some of the kingdoms that were still watching and hadn't sent their troops to Fremons had begun to embark on their journeys. The interior of Huashu kingdom. The executives of the various regions had also received this news, and their hearts were filled with mixed feelings. Even though most of the region's executives knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, they were only able to look on in dismay. They were in the midst of post-war reconstruction and simply did not have enough ability to send people over. Even if they understood that in this way, the gap between them and the world's major top mutant groups would be even wider after the Fremon's battle was over. Including Xinjing City, Hotu and Shangdaowen were also hesitating. The mysterious existence that appeared in Fremons is powerful and terrifying, but it also means great opportunities. Should we go? Shangdaowen was hesitant about the matter, but it was Hotu who ultimately clapped the decision. Hotu sat in the center of the Earth God's temple and lit a candle with her own hands, the candlelight illuminating the gauze tent and making the rows of lifelike puppets on the wooden shelves look even more realistic. Chaos has already gone, it's best for us to stay here. Hotu said leisurely. Shangdaowen was a bit reluctant, but Chaos, he is after all a mutant who wanders outside the order. Even if he obtains something, it is not seen that he will share it with us. Ho Tu, however, said, our Huashu kingdom is a whole. This chaos fellow is above big things, and I'm sure you won't be ambiguous. Most importantly, don't forget the Black Dragon's warning. Hearing these words, Shang Daowen swallowed back the words that were already on his lips. Of course he wouldn't forget the Black Dragon's warning. The vision that had appeared in Fremons was a powerful existence that even its tribe would be afraid of. If one were to go to Fremons recklessly just because of the benefits that appeared in front of them, then it would be tantamount to a moth to a flame, and it would be easy for all of them to die there. Remind chaos of this. Ho Tu said to Shang Daowen. Shang Daowen nodded, all right, I'll contact him right away. It was impossible to go, but as Zhang Yi was the representative of Huashu Kingdom, they would still do everything they could to aid Zhang Yi. This was also for the sake of Zhang Yi after his return so that they could claim some favors from him. Thus, Shang Daowen immediately sent a communication to Zhang Yi about this matter. A danger exists? This I am certainly aware of, and now I can vaguely feel that everything here is not as simple as it appears. The Mechanical Legion, the 10 demon gods, were all just things floating on the surface. The real secret, that was bound to be full of unimaginable perils, as well as opportunities. Shang Daowen said, there are some things that concern Huashu Kingdom's secrets that I cannot tell you. But I can only remind you that the mysterious things that exist in Fremons are more menacing than all the mysterious civilizations you've seen before. Even though he had already prepared himself mentally, Shang Daowen's words still caused Zhang Yi to sit up straight. More dangerous than the Wulwan Empire, or even the communities under the Qinling Mountain. Yes. Shang Daowen's single word made Zhang Yi want to turn around and go back almost immediately. However, when he asked for more, Shang Daowen apologized and explained that there was only so much information they could get. But if Zhang Yi had any subsequent needs, they would help. Even going against the international consensus and launching the Reaper of Love towards Fremon's territory. Invading Fremon's satellite field could not be done in principle, but Huashu Kingdom's nebula system could definitely do it if necessary. Okay. I'll make my judgment based on the current situation. After ending the communication, Zhang Yi pondered for a long time before finally deciding to stay here and wait and see what happens. To him who possessed the space shuffle ability, there was not much difference between being in Samaran City and being in Tianhai City. If there really existed the kind of terrifying civilization that surpassed the Wulwan Empire and the Qinling Mountain community, as Shang Daowen had said, then fleeing to any corner of this planet would make no difference. After Zhang Yi defeated the demon god Gui, throughout Fremons, the battle became even hotter. More and more teams of mutants took the hunting of the demon god as a symbol of honor, and were eager to obtain a large amount of technological resources from it. Many had only heard of Zhang Yi's name. How loud was the name Chaos? It was nothing more than some fame in the region surrounding Huashu Kingdom, but the mutants from other regions had not seen him at all, so it was thought that although the strength was strong, the caliber was within their grasp. Which of the teams of mutants that were able to come to Fremons was not a powerful force that dominated a party? None of them felt that they were inferior to Zhang Yi's strength. Therefore, they simply didn't understand how terrifying the strength of the 10 demon gods was. Alto City. Zhang Yi and the others left, and 2 pitch-black figures came to this place. The demon gods of the 10 demon gods, Wu and Jin. They stood on the half-excavated ruins of the city. Jin pulled out a metal cube that was only the size of his palm and placed it on the ground. As soon as the metal cube touched the ground, it immediately acted like a beetle that had shed its shell, extending its limbs and feet from the body and firmly grasping the snow and ice on the ground. Soon, all sorts of information that had been probed were transmitted to Xion's center. There is an extremely weak reaction here, 6.23% probability of the existence of a great god-level civilization relic. A low voice came out of Xion's mouth. Next to him, Wu, however, said, a large-scale battle had just occurred here yesterday, and the special energy field may affect the judgment of the detection equipment. It seems that the only way to dig down from here is to use the most primitive method. Jin looked down at the ground beneath his feet. Wu said faintly, but before that, there's a need to clean up the troublesome little bugs nearby. Jin raised her head and gazed into the distance. Those inferior creatures called humans are really annoying. Obviously, they are incredibly weak, yet they always like to cause trouble. At this moment, less than 20 kilometers away from the direction Xian's gaze was looking, a team from a developed European country Owens was ambushing the place. The captain looked at the signals that had been explored, and excitement was written all over his face. These two are probably the legendary demon gods. It's so lucky to have found two at once.